Hey guys, Brig here, and today we're going to be talking about what I think are the two best professions to have at the start of Shadowlands. Now, all of this Shadowlands beta and alpha stuff has got me really hyped, and I think some of this stuff for gold making looks awesome, and I think the expansion in general looks pretty awesome, to be honest. Compared to BFA, it looks 100 times better, and I'm very excited to see how that goes, and I cannot wait for it to come out. Mostly to play it, but also for the gold making potential that is certain going to be there. Now, on my last videos I talked about what the best professions are for the end of Battle for Azeroth, so I thought it only natural to lead on with these videos talking about the best professions for the start of Shadowlands. And I think there are two clear favourites, at least for me, that I think are going to do amazing at the start of Shadowlands. And luckily they're two that also do well right now in Battle for Azeroth, so if you get them leveled up and sorted now, then you're going to be making gold now, and you're going to be making even more in Shadowlands. The first thing we're going to be talking about is Inscription, and now this is the profession I think is going to be the best profession for the start of Shadowlands, which I will explain in a little bit. And luckily it's already a very good profession. In fact, I ranked it top of my professions list. For the end of Battle for Azeroth, the trinkets sell really well. Obviously it has the useful sort of pieces like the contracts, like the tomes and all of that, which always sell. Then it also has some really good old world stuff and cosmetic stuff such as glyphs, so it's just got an incredible range of different things that make it a very powerful profession right now, and the trinkets really just push it over the edge in terms of how well it is doing, and it's going to be very similar in Shadowlands. Now let's look at some of the things that are coming in Shadowlands for Inscription. So of course, with the new herbs that are coming, we have the mass milling. We also have the new inks that always occur, that you get from mass milling and turning the pigments into inks. Then there are some new sort of reagents that you can purchase from vendors, I believe. And then there are the contracts. Contracts always do well at the start of expansions because people really want to get their reputations up as quickly as possible, because you can unlock some really cool things from the reputations. So having contracts, particularly on less populated servers, you can make a pretty decent amount of gold with them, at least at the start of the expansion. However, the main thing that I'm looking forward to in Shadowlands is of course the Dark Moon decks. For those of you who are new to the game or maybe new to Inscription, Dark Moon decks are always the best gold maker for the start of an expansion. If you go back and look at my old videos at the start of BFA, I made something like 2 million gold in a day or two just from making the Dark Moon decks, and I didn't even level up very quickly. The people who leveled up first made like 5 or 10 million gold in like 24 hours or 48 hours just from selling Dark Moon decks. It was ridiculous. But the reason that Dark Moon decks do so well is because they're very powerful trinkets. For the past few expansions, they have made Inscription the best profession to have at the start because everyone wants these new trinkets because they're just like the best in slot for their classes. Now, we're not certain how good these trinkets are going to be, but to be honest, they're probably going to be good because they always are, and they're going to be a really good gold maker for you. You really want to level up as quickly as possible, unlock the trinkets and start crafting them, and if you can do that, you're really going to make a decent amount of gold. And for those of you who don't know how trinkets work, it's pretty simple. You buy herbs, you mill the herbs into ink, and then you use the ink to create different cards. And once you have all of the different cards to make a deck, you put them together, it makes the deck, and the deck is the trinket. It's pretty simple, and they're making it even easier with this wildcard thing that they're introducing in Shadowlands, which kind of lets you specify and gives you this potential of a blank card that can be used as a random card for any. So if you're missing sort of part of a set, that's going to help you. So hopefully it won't be as annoying to make these in Shadowlands, and I think you're really going to make a lot of gold with these. Moving down, there is all the usual stuff such as Vantus runes, the new Tome of the Still Mind, Codex of the Still Mind, and this Writ of Grave Robbing that allows you to unlock locks. Now, all of that on its own would be pretty good and probably make Inscription one of the best professions. But then you get these words of power. Words of power are something new in Shadowlands that let you increase the item level of a crafted piece of armor. So like when you are making the armor, you can put it in there and it will make the armor higher item level basically. And this looks pretty awesome, because let's be honest, no one is going to be making or using the crafted armor with the least item level. They're all going to be wanting to use the one with the most, which basically means everyone's going to be buying these. Any crafter, anyone wanting to use crafted gear or make crafted gear is going to be buying these. They're going to be in huge demand. So it's just going to be a great gold maker for scribes, particularly at the start when it's a whole new thing and crafted armor is so expensive. They're going to be in really high demand. I'm not certain how you make these in terms of what materials. Hopefully it's not too easy, because when Blizzard makes something too easy to make, the price is usually terrible. There's so many examples of that in the game. But if it requires a few things, I presume it will require a couple of different inks and stuff like that. And if it does, then that's good, because some people don't really like using inks. I don't know why, people just don't seem to understand it as well, even though it's really simple. But anyway, if that happens, these are going to be amazing. I think they're going to be amazing anyway at the start of the expansion. No matter how easy they are to make, everyone's going to want them. And this, combined with the trinkets and everything else that scribes get, really puts Inscription as the best profession by far, I think, for the start of Shadowlands, particularly for the first few weeks. And if you're looking to make some quick big gold, I really suggest getting Inscription. But before we talk about the next profession, I would like to mention today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of courses from some amazing creators. In the strange time where we are currently living, Skillshare is a great way for creative people to help break up their monotonous daily routine and try something new. It is great value for money at just $10 per month for a yearly subscription, and you're going to be getting 2 months free Skillshare through clicking my link down in the description. My main job is as a marketer, and I've really been enjoying the Design Great Stuff course from Draplin, providing a really interesting insight into how to build merch for a specific brand. So please remember, link in the description below. You will get 2 months free Skillshare Premium for the first 1,000 people that click it, so don't miss out. So the next profession that I think is going to be awesome in Shadowlands, particularly at the start, is Enchanting. And this is another profession that already is doing very well at the moment, particularly because it has some old world enchants that people can use to level up. Lots of people are leveling at the moment. Also, of course, it has the Tome of Illusions and all the cosmetic things that sell really, really nicely. And then, of course, the sort of new world stuff, the weapon enchants, the ring enchants. Everything about Enchanting is good right now, and I think it's only going to get better in Shadowlands. So Shadowlands looks really good for enchanters because of the amount of enchants you can now do, which is awesome. So of course they have the weapon enchants like usual, cloak enchants. They also have chest enchants. We haven't had chest enchants for a while. Bracer enchants, glove enchants, and not useless gathering glove enchants only, but actually some fairly decent glove enchants, boot enchants, ring enchants. So there are loads of different enchants. Right now, there's only like specific sort of slots in specific enchants. Or I said that the wrong way around. But basically right now, for example, the boots only can be enchanted with agility, and the gloves can only be enchanted with strength. So that puts a slight downer on things in terms of what people are going to be using, but it still gives you more things to sell. Instead of only having to sell sort of 2 or 3 items, you can now sell sort of 10 items, and even if there's only one sort of class or one set of classes buying it, it's still going to be better than it is now, which is awesome. Shadowlands also brings enchanters the sort of classic WoW things of the enchanted leather, enchanted bars, enchanted silk, the kind of thing that you saw in classic and previous expansions but was taken out of the game. Well, it's now back, so you can make these little reagents and sell them on the auction house to people with other professions who need to use them in other professions. And this is great. I love having a profession that can create reagents for other professions. It's one of the reasons I like engineering. I don't like engineering for much gold making, but that is one of my favourite parts of engineering, the fact that it can do that, and the fact that enchanting can do this now is going to be great. Again, particularly at the start, because these are going to be able to help you make some pretty high-end items, and if you can sell these at the start of the expansion, I'm sure they will be in high demand and you'll get a nice bit of profit from them. Now, similar to Inscription, Enchanting also has the optional reagents feature. In fact, all professions pretty much have it in Shadowlands, whereas Inscription increases the item level of the item. The Enchanting one sort of increases or gives you different stats to the item or different sort of abilities. They don't have much to say on this at the moment, but for example, one of them allows the wearer to blast an enemy with flame, dealing fire damage. So it's that kind of thing that you're going to be able to add to your gear when you craft it. And does this mean it's going to sell well? I'm not sure. Again, it completely depends how sort of overpowered or not these are. But if they're good, if they're BIS, if they're on the best in slot lists or the enchant, if they're on the guides, the class guides, because they do the most damage, then people are going to buy them. So again, it completely depends on how overpowered or not they are, but it's just something extra that makes enchanting even better than normal. Another one of my favourite things about enchanting in Shadowlands is it has another sort of shuffle or mini shuffle that you can do, because you're going to be able to turn dust into shards and shards into crystals, and the crystal is the sort of high-end enchanting crafting material. And you can also do the kind of shatter ones that turn the crystals into the shards and the shards into the dust. You've never been able to do this at the start of the expansion before, and in fact you basically never ever get to turn the lower ones into the high ones. So you'll basically be able to turn 9 soul dust into 1 crystal, because you can turn 3 soul dust into 1 shard, or 9 soul dust into 3 shards, and then 3 shards into 1 crystal. So it's going to make things a lot easier, particularly if on your server one of the items is overpriced. Well, you can just do the shuffle yourself and sell it for more. I mean, this is not going to be something that lasts for a long time. People are going to work out that, oh, the soul dust turns into the shards and the shards turn into the crystals, so I'm not going to overpay if one of them is a lot more expensive than it should be on the auction house. Eventually people will work it out, but for the start of the expansion, this is something that people will just be rushing to level and people won't really be bothered about. So if you can find a little niche market on your server where you just buy out all the soul dust and turn it into shards and crystals and then sell the crystals for a really high price, I think that's something that's going to be incredibly easy, but also incredibly profitable the first few days of the expansion when maybe people aren't so knowledgeable about it. So this is something else that I am very excited about with Shadowlands. And yeah, that is it, guys. Those are the 2 professions I am going to be running with at the start of the expansion. In fact, I'm going to change my alchemy to Inscription, I think, before Shadowlands begins, and get Inscription up on my main, just so I can level up with these 2 best professions and start making gold straight away with these 2 professions. That's my plan anyway. And particularly Inscription, guys, I cannot stress this enough. Inscription will make you a ton of gold in Shadowlands in the first few weeks, so do not miss out on that opportunity. And Enchanting is just always good, but I think it will particularly be good in Shadowlands because there's just more enchants to sell. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you are excited for Shadowlands. I certainly am. And I can't wait to check it out. Hopefully I will get on the beta sometime soon. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, see ya.